What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm going to be showing how to make the Sovereign Heights map from Rocket League. I built this like forever ago when the map first came out as part of a Let's Build, and it's been sitting in a world forever, and I have yet to do anything with it, so I figured it'd be good to do a tutorial. This will just be the field itself along with the light posts here. I will show those, but they're not part of the grid. I'll explain that when we get to that point later. But anyway, yeah, that's all. So with that being said, enjoy the tutorial, and I will catch you on the flip side. Alrighty, so the space we have this is a 69 nice by 119. You don't need to build it in the air. I'd actually build it on the ground. I only have it in the air because of that map being in the air and because of the terraforming that I would have eventually been doing, but I never got far enough to do that. Anyway, you need materials, though, and the ones you need to start off are as follows. Orange concrete, I said the thing for the interior when this is not an interior, whatever. Orange terracotta, pink terracotta, light blue terracotta, light blue concrete, black concrete, gray wool, orange stained glass, and I want to say light blue stained glass, but let me make sure. Oh no, it's actually dark blue. I'm glad that I confirmed. So we're going to start from the like back left orange corner. You can see how the map is oriented here. We're just starting on that far side. So if you take the front left hand corner of your 69 by 119 grid, cough cough if you decided to make it, you want to start by counting back diagonally right by 9, or alternatively you could count back 9 and then right 9 and get you to the same position. But the whole triangle thing where whatever is shorter, the one thing. You then want to go right with 18 orange concrete. Then back with 1 orange, 6 gray wool, back diagonally right 1, right with 13 orange stained glass, gray wool, back diagonally right, back 5, right? Yeah. Then back with 2 orange, and then right by 17. From this point, we're doing the same thing from both like outer orange concrete. So you're extending continually back 1 and out 1 from that until you have, if you count the outer diagonals, this would be 1 here, the corner that we would have already had, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and then 9 is there. Or if you ended up making your grid, you'd be 1 block inside. So I'll just count the amount of times. So we go out and back once, twice, or back and out once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 8 times in total. And that 9th would have been from that front block, but it's not important necessarily. You'll then take that outermost orange and on both sides extend back by 40. And you can also cheat by just kind of tracing this block across and, you know. Although I'm going to count it again anyway. I did count it again. You'll then beyond that on both sides place an orange terracotta, pink terracotta, light blue terracotta, and then you'd want 41 more light blue concrete, which I'll place the terracottas on the other side first, and then I'll place both rows of 41. And I don't need to count the other side. Cool. Hopefully everyone is having a good day or night. I am for the most part. And then you're pretty much copying the same thing from the front, although I guess this time you'd go in 1, back, in, back, in, back, and you do that a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and then 8 times. Like so. And then if you went in from both sides by 17, back by 1, then back with 6 gray wool, back diagonally in 1 with gray, or I guess, yeah, back diagonally, that's correct. You'll connect together from there with what should be 13 blue glass between those 2 grays. And if you've done all that correctly, and also if you have your grid, you'd be a block just inside of the line there. You're inside by 1 on all kind of areas. That should give you this. Cool. Now, to an extent, this isn't perfect, but you're going kind of up diagonally out from that previous row with the same blocks. Like, again, I guess out diagonally. The only exceptions are the gray wool. Really, like the gray wool kind of where the goals are, you don't want to deal with those. But I guess what I'm going to suggest you do here is these orange concretes that are kind of sticking in, which is where the goal would actually end up being. You can bring those up by just 1 for now. And then if you go all the way out to the end of this row of orange, or I guess it'd be light blue on the other side, but you get the point. And then for the diagonal, I actually do have extra blocks here. Technically, you would only need to go diagonally normally, but I just am doing it the exact same because I don't know. Basically, you'd have an orange on top of each of these diagonals here, and that is all you would need. I bring it out another row. That's mainly because it looks better on the outside like that, but it's entirely up to you. And then here you would want to make sure you get the orange or the terracottas in. And yeah, so I'll kind of show you what it looks like from the inside. You basically don't want any extra blocks. You just want the angles purely. So here's kind of what like a corner looks like. Hopefully that's not too confusing. If it is, you can break those like extra blocks from the outside is where you would have to break them. I guess you could technically break from the inside if you like that angle more, but yeah. This build is fairly old, so some parts of it I would imagine are not perfect. I like sat on it for a while, and I finally opened Rocket League to look at the map again and compare them side by side. I was like, you know what? It's good enough. And I may end up doing reskins of like some of the other maps. I don't know. I think doing the labs ones would be fun. Get some different shapes in there. Anyway, you should have this. I want to focus on the goals, but before we can do that, I think we should probably make the frame for the goal. So these rows of 2 orange just kind of on the inside, or again, light blue. Just kind of ignore if I say a color, because it'll be either orange or light blue. I guess you could also change them, actually, to be whatever colors you want. Like, you could do red and green if you wanted. I don't know why I picked Christmas colors. Anyway, this particular orange on both sides, you want to extend up by 3. And then you would connect together from there. Is that right? Yes. And do the same on the other side. Could maybe be a little taller, but... It looks proportionally wrong when I don't have it next to the map, but like when I pulled up the map, it looked fine. Again, perhaps not perfect, but... Should give you these. Cool. You want to take the gray wool here on the sides, and you want to place 2 rows of the appropriately colored glass on the side rows. We won't have to fly back and forth the whole time, don't worry. It'll just be for the goals. I'll try to make it less annoying as we get further, but you could also technically split this into quarters and just do 1 quarter and then mirror it. The 3 glass closest to the goal frame, or I guess the posts, you'll bring each of them up with an additional glass. And then from there, you kind of want to surround this glass with gray wool. So you'll have gray wool just behind it here and then also on top. And that'll give you the goal shape. Cool. To the other side. Fun fact, actually, I have a list of like tutorials I need to record, and this has been so long, it's at the very top of that. It's been at the top for like ever. You can get rid of, I guess, your pink terracotta or just some block like that, and get out your light gray concrete. And between these first 2 gray wools, kind of behind the crossbar, you're placing a row of light gray concrete. Just like so. Then on the sides of that, you almost want to mimic the, or you do want to mimic the gray wool shape. The only thing is that you have this additional row of light gray, so it'll be shifted back. So you'll go back from the sides with 3 gray, down diagonally, back, back 2, down diagonally, back, and down 1. And you can also see, actually, this bottom gray would still mimic the shape, as you can, again, from this kind of angle, you can see how it all is just shifted back. And you can also actually just connect all of those together with the appropriate glass color, which will finish off the goals. And then we can start doing the floor. I'm not really worried about the perimeter glass until, like, way later. I think the goal is to finish the actual, like, I don't want to say not furnishing, but I guess the lines and stuff on the grass before the outside gets finished, because then you can just figure, close it all in, and that's that. Orange glass. And yeah. Anyway, you should end up with this. Cool. You can, I guess, clear your inventory from this point, and hold on, I gotta get myself inside the field now on my other account. Get out the following. This is gonna be really weird. We're gonna start with white wool, green terracotta. That is not the right one. There we go. Green concrete. Orange wool. I don't think this will be too bad. Blue wool. And block of netherite. If you're in survival for whatever reason, you can use polished blackstone instead. I just went with that one for fun. Gray concrete. Gray wool. And I'll go orange concrete. These are for the floors of the goals, so yeah, we can actually start with those. Sure, why not? So in either goal, you want to, in line with, I guess, the crossbar height, you're going to break the grass in the floor and replace it with block of netherite. Just kind of there. So that would be the, I suppose, the goal line. Does soccer work the same? If anybody knows, because I have no idea, where you have to, like, completely cross the line for it to count? Because I know Rocket League obviously is, and so is hockey. But I'm not a soccer watcher, so I wouldn't know. You want to then, from this point, place, or I guess you can actually just break the entire floor inside of here first. That'd be smart. You don't have to break under the glass. By the way, here, I have it as cobble deep say, which is just a sidewalk block. I'll explain that later. I'll actually just only, no, I'll break both. I might as well. There's no point in waiting. Wee. Anyway, you should have this. You'll place one row of gray concrete kind of on the left and the right, which almost is just lined up with this inner row of gray wool in the floor. And then from, well, the gray wool isn't in the floor, but you get the point. And then from there, you want to, for real this time, place gray wool in the floor that perimeters the entire shape you have left. Like this, kind of. So just creating a giant rectangle. A hollow rectangle. But a rectangle nonetheless. And again, don't forget the gray concrete on the other side here when you switch over. So you should probably be on the orange one for this. I guess I'll fly back over. You want to trim the inside of the gray wool with the concrete color of the respective side. So for this side to be orange, for the other side to be light blue concrete. And then the center from there, you're just filling in with gray wool. So I'll get rid of the orange concrete now and get out light blue concrete, since that's all we needed the concrete for. The entire floor is wool, and it's also not even light blue, it's dark blue. Hence why we have that block, I guess. You should have this. Cool. Now, this is where things do not become fun. That is the opposite of fun. Actually, we did forget a small step. So get rid of your block of netherite and get out black concrete. And trim kind of along the orange, breaking in the floor here, just black concrete going around on, I guess, both the orange and light blue. Where you have the goals, though, you want to basically hit the end here and just kind of stop abruptly. You don't curve around or anything, you just stop flat there. But, yeah, just one block. Kind of the same as the orange or light blue diagonals are, just in the floor instead. Yeah, that was why we had black concrete earlier, and I just completely forgot to use it, so my bad. And then from there, basically, the floor has a, like, it's almost a flannel pattern. I guess it'd just be the mowing pattern, but it kind of reminds me of flannel, so I'm going with that. But it has it in everywhere but the, like, kind of goal boxes. So we're going to mark out the goal boxes, and then we're going to do the rest of the floor. Oh, brother, that's unfortunate. Do the rest of the floor, and that'll probably be a time-lapse, or not a time-lapse, just like a cut. Once I explain how that pattern is done, because that will take a while. But I'll have some of it in, at least. I don't know. It depends on how long it takes. I guess, really. Almost there. See, if this takes this long, like, it's gonna be bad. Anyway. You should end up with this. And that just kind of adds a nice little darker color. So, from either goal, you want to, on both sides of it, you're gonna take the... do we want to mark both? Nah. You want to take the 11th grass out. So first would be here, like, in line with this black. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th. And you want to just replace it with a white wool on both sides. And you should have, if you check outside of that, 6 blocks. Before the other black. And I'm actually going to just trace this fully across like this. And mark these on the other side. I'll probably explain the curve both times, but I just, the less that I have to do that way, the better. Just gonna make sure. Am I off? No, I'm good. From those whites, you will extend back, which I'm gonna always say back is towards the center, by the way. So as if you are, like, defending the particular goal that you are at, just to make it a little bit easier. But you want to extend either of these white wools back by 6. You're gonna have to break grass for this, obviously. Then you'll go back diagonally in and back 2. Back diagonally in and back. Back diagonally into and in 1. Back diagonally in and in. That is not right. Oh, Lord. I'm just going to get rid of the light blue concrete and keep the grass in my inventory. So that's probably not a bad idea. You won't need the light blue again anyway. You'll then go back diagonally in and in 3. Back diagonally in and in 3 again. And then you'll go back diagonally in. And you should connect together, which will give you a total row of 5. And that is kind of the shape that you have. There's your goal box. You want to rinse and repeat that for the other side. So if you want the instruction again, extend these wools. Hold on, I just got to get over there. Okay. Extend the wools on either side back by 6. Back diagonally in and back 2. Back diagonally in and back. Back diagonally into and in 1. Back diagonally in and in. Back diagonally in and in 3 twice on either side. And then you go back diagonally in, and again, you'll have the 3 in the center. Cool. So, for the, again, the quote-unquote flannel pattern, this is very annoying. I am telling you that right now. If you take the... Where are we going to start here? I kind of want to start in the center going across. So, if you take in line with the pink, orange, and light blue terracottas here on either side, it shouldn't matter. I'll just start from the... where orange is to my left and light blue is to my right if I'm looking across. And obviously excluding that black. You're going to break 3 rows out and replace with green terracotta. Yeah. Then going across from here, you're going to you will have to break the full 3 rows. You're going to do alternating green concrete and green terracotta rows of 3 going across like this. You'll almost see this as like a checkerboard pattern with 3 spots involved. It's strange. It's almost like there's a checkerboard pattern inside the checkerboard pattern. Not really. Why am I filling this fully with green concrete? Sorry, that is not what you're supposed to do. 3 green concrete, 3 green terracotta. I'm gonna lose my mind if I break another grass block. 3 concrete, 3 terracotta. You get the drill. Yeah, sorry, I don't know why my brain piloted or autopiloted to that. Because I was thinking about the pattern more than actually placing it. At least I caught it before it was fully done. It was almost there, though. It was almost. And then after that, oh my goodness gracious. Hold on. You will take, basically, each green terracotta, and this will continue, by the way, when I say this. It will continue in each direction from each green terracotta. You'll continue that alternating pattern, again, basically in each direction. So from this here, I'll go 3 green concrete, then terracotta, then concrete, then terracotta, etc. And then from each terracotta off of this row, I'll go across the other way the same, which would be left to right, except for the fact that I'm on the perimeter, so it would only be kind of, I guess, across that way. But you see here, like this, green terracotta will go in with 3 concrete, 3 terracotta, etc. The one catch that you'll see with this is this will leave spaces that are grass. It won't leave a ton, but it'll leave a good amount. And so I'll kind of show you what a finished little square looks like. Like this kind of space here. You can see this almost 8 that I made. That's what you should have. Just repeatedly. So, yeah. Each green concrete is perimetered on 2 sides by terracotta and on the other 2 by grass. It also will basically give you strips that are fully green concrete and green terracotta, and other ones that are green concrete and grass. Yeah. So, if possible, structure blocking this is kind of nice. I, like, don't even know, how would I, like, how do I approach any of this, you know? I think what I will do is I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to structure block this little section, and just try to repeat it the best that I can. Do not go inside of these goal boxes, by the way. That is why we mark these now, because those do want to stay open. But other than that, everything else kind of in the center area you're filling. So yeah, again, I'm going to try my best to structure block this. How I would recommend doing that is taking a corner, of course it's not that one, like this one. And then if I lay this out, it's going to be multiples of 3. I know that for a fact. So maybe 15. I guess I actually have to go 18. Because the end, basically the end should be different than the start. So like, I guess these 2 corners are the same, but those 2 are not. And basically what I'll do is I'll count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Place another one, and if I load G, you see it's an empty space. And I can actually do one of these. And yeah, that's perfect. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So yeah, I'm going to structure block the rest of this. Did it not copy the data? Why did it not copy the data? Wait, oh, it switched them. Oh, I see. So it did copy the data. Just not well. Yeah, I'm going to do this, and I'll be back once I've got a full floor. After a bit of time and a whole lot of hand cramping later, you should end up with this. Now, for the... Do I want to start with the goal boxes? I think I do. Yeah. So there's actually another line inside of these lines, believe it or not. We're going to do that, and then we can do the stuff inside those lines, and then go from there, kind of. So, if you take the 4th black out, or grass, whichever, you want to, I guess, break 3 out and replace them with white wool on either side. Again, I'm going to do 1 at a time here. Or, I guess, 1 goal box at a time. You'll then go back diagonally in and back. then again. Back diagonally in 2 and in 1. Back diagonally in and in 2. Then back diagonally in, and you'll connect together with 3 again, which should be a total row of 5. Cool. For the other side, again, to reiterate, the 4th block out, you'll go back from with 3 wool of the white variety. Back diagonally in and back twice. Back diagonally in 2 and in 1. Back diagonally in and in 2. Back diagonally in and connect together. So the inner one is going to be more annoying to do, but I don't think either of them are exactly easy. So you want to take the very center. I guess if you kind of head inside the goal, you take the very center netherite and just behind it place an orange wool. The side that I'm on, you should use blue wool for. I just used orange wool because I completely forgot which side I was on, and I was also looking at the orange side actively. So I think those are my brain defaulted to orange. So yeah, whenever I say orange, if you're on the blue side, you do blue. If you're on the blue side, you do... Or blue side, you do blue. On orange side, do orange. Just whatever. Bit of a mental oopsie for me, but... So you'll just see orange twice in the video when I explain it the second time. Like so. You'll then leave a gap of 1 either side and place 2 orange wool going out. Gap of 1, 2 orange wool, and then you should end with 1 grass outside of those. You can also take the, out of the kind of, I guess, 3 black concrete here, the center one, and you'll go back with 2 orange wool. So here. Then in 1, that is not... Oh, Lord. Back 2. In 1. Back 2 again. Then in 1. Back 1. In 2. Back 1. In 2. Then you'll go back diagonally in 1, and then forward diagonally in 1, like so. That'll make more sense later as to why that is there. But essentially, from the kind of outside of this perimeter line you just made, you're going to take this orange, and just inside of it by 1, you'll leave a gap and place another orange here. And basically, each of these singular grass blocks we placed, excluding the kind of top there, because that will line up with it anyway, you want to take each of these and just continually bring them diagonally in and towards each other until they hit a point. So all of them should connect to kind of the symmetrical other side. So this orange here, the grass either side of it, would go diagonally in, and you would follow the rest of the shape or fill in the rest of the shape with orange. So I'm just gonna kind of do that so you can see the line. And then with this grass here, it would be diagonal, diagonal, and I guess it would just follow that. So basically, if you were alternatively to take these rows of 2 and bring the inner orange back in, repeatedly, eventually you'll hit a point, and they'll all kind of do that. And I guess here you would do what? You would have an orange. I guess from this black concrete here, it would be an orange to the right. 1 back, 1 in, 1 back, 1 in, repeatedly. And yeah, more so, I wouldn't worry about using the or the orange wool for this. I'd more so worry about the grass itself, and just kind of filling in anything that isn't where the grass would be with orange, or again, alternatively blue. But I'll explain it again in a second. So it should look like that. Again, to reiterate on the other side. So again, to reiterate, just behind the goal line, orange in the very center, gap of 1 either side, which is grass, 2 orange, gap of 1, 2 orange. And then you would, alternatively, I know I gave you the specific block for block, but for the outer line of orange, you're staying just away from the white wool at all times, to where you don't ever touch it. Not even at a diagonal angle. You kind of just want to stay away from it by at least 1 full block of grass. And again, you can see where each of the angles is. You kind of have this row of 2 going. And then again, inside of these first oranges where you would have the grass and then 2 more orange. And same thing where you're taking each of these oranges and kind of diagonally bringing them in to connect at a point with one another in the rest of the space. You would fill in with the wool color. I think that's a grass. Just make sure you know where the center is and that you don't overshoot one, because that is definitely something that could happen and would happen. And also, you will have to, if you filled in like I did here at the top, you will have to break the kind of center. You'll see what I mean in approximately right now. And you could technically leave this orange open, because that would be where the next diagonal is, but I don't think there's a line there if I recall. Sorry, I presume if there was one, I would have added it. But again, this kind of very center orange I'll replace with a grass, just like so. Oopsies, I missed a block over here. Cool. The outer goal box area is a bit easier. It's almost the same thing, but if you inverted it. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this inner goal box edge, and I'm going to, from this bottom white wool, count out 2 and replace this with an orange. Although, keep in mind, you are still leaving the grass trim around the white wool at all times. Because this orange would go diagonally and repeatedly, but you don't want to place one here because that would, again, be against the white wool, and we just don't like that. You'll then leave a gap of 2 from that and place another orange here. And this one you'll bring diagonally in until you're 1 block away from what will be this white wool. And then you can take really any block of that. I'll start with this furthest out one, and I'll count back 3 and replace this grass with an orange. And repeat that diagonal line here. And this one goes pretty far. It'll go all the way until it almost hits the kind of outer edge there, or I guess the front edge. Closest to midfield. Like so. And then again, I'll take it can't be the outermost one this time, so it'll be the next one in. I'll leave a gap of 2 and I'll repeat the same line. And yeah, that'll be I think the last line you can do outside of that. Yeah. But you will have to end up taking, I think, the very last orange, actually, from this inner row. And you'll count forward 3, replace this one with an orange, bring these diagonally in until they almost connect. They won't, but they almost will. And then I'll take those end oranges and count forward 3, replace these with an orange, and then diagonally, and they'll connect. That is what you should have, basically. Each line has a gap of 2 between them. And again, you won't be diagonally touching the white in any way. If you're at a point to where, like, you're going to, like, let's say for this line, if I place one here and I see, ooh, that diagonally touches the white, just take it away. And, yeah. So for the other side, I feel like converting it. I feel like starting from the top. Sure, let's do it. I'll take the center grass here, and I'll just count forward 1 and then out 1 on either side and place blues there, kind of, which almost look like eyes. And I'll go diagonally out until, again, I would be touching the white there, so I won't place that one. And then I will count in by 2 and also out. It's not really... It's hard to explain, but once you figure it out, it's not too bad. It's more so figuring out how your lines are supposed to be placed. But genuinely, if you take a blue wool and you count out to the 3rd block, like, let's say I take this one and count out 3, and, okay, no, I can't place one there, can't place one there, can place one here, and you can see that can also go a diagonal in that direction. They're basically always pointing towards the center and as far out as they can. Yeah, again, it's a little weird, I think, at points, but you can make out the amount of lines when I show it again in a sec, if that will help in any way. Or alternatively, again, just kind of seeing where each one is getting placed. And don't forget that lone little block, because that technically counts. It's dumb, but it does. And again, if you need a reference, it should look like this. Cool. Now, oh yeah, this has that going on. Okay. Sovereign Heights is a bunch of, like, almost, it looks like playbook kind of plans. You'll see that later. We won't do those just yet, but they are there, and they are not really fun. What you can do is you can find a midfield here, and I want to make the midfield line just because I feel like that's going to be one of the easier things left. So from the center here will be this pink terracotta row. You want to extend in from it. Excluding this black concrete, you're going to break 17 blocks over and replace them with white wool. Just like so. And from both sides here. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 17. You can count the amount of squares as well. Just their 3 blocks. You will then leave a gap of 1, and going in from there, you'll place 10 white wool. And then extend that row both forward and back, or that end block both forward and backward by 1. You'll then go diagonally in kind of towards each other by 1. Back by 1, so toward either goal. In 1. Then kind of diagonally in by 1, and you'll connect together from there, which should give you a circle. A small circle, but a circle nonetheless. And this is where the ball spawns, obviously. I guess. Hopefully, obviously. Who knows? If you take the 4th white wool in from these sides, so this guy right here, you want to extend it both forward and backward by just 3 for now. Because I want to mark a different line, but there is also another line happening too. So, it's a lot of lines, in case that wasn't obvious. You'll then from that white go out by 2, so towards the perimeter wall. Technically that's right, just sounds weird to think about. And then that white wool there, you're going to pretty much do the same thing we've been doing here, where you're... It's afraid of the, I don't know, the perimeter, I guess. So you want to, if you bring the white wool all the way out here along these sides, once you hit the diagonals, you make sure you stay a block away at all times, still. So, like, from this diagonal, you have this kind of going on, these gaps of 2. And then you would hit the kind of end here, this block. Well, actually, you wouldn't want one here, my bad. You want to stay 2 blocks away from the end there. And then you would go in by 3, which would leave you 2 blocks away from the goal box. Like so. So you're 1 block off the long sides of the field and 2 blocks off of the kind of sides with the goal. I guess the back walls. And then you would again have the kind of 2 block diagonal space. Hopefully that's not too weird. I know it's a little strange, but like explaining something like this is just not... It's weird, for sure. But I am hoping that also just showing it is helping as much as my really weird explaining. Or maybe it's not weird, who knows, maybe I just think it is. Definitely a different tutorial, I've never really done anything like this. I guess I've done soccer fields and hockey rinks and things, but... Have I done? No, I have done a soccer field. It's been... probably 4 years since I've done a tutorial on anything like this. I'm sure the refresh versions of all of it will be fun. I do plan on doing a refresh. For the hockey rink is the only one I have planned, and I want to do like a skating rink, kind of. So that'll be fun, probably. From those white wools, again, we're going to do the 2 sides that are closest to each other just to start. You want to go back from by 5. And you'll cut through an entire green concrete cube with that. Square, I guess. It's not 3D. You'll then go back diagonally in and back 2. Back diagonally in and back 1. Back diagonally in by 4 and in 1. Back diagonally in 1 and in 1 again. And then from there you want to go back by 21. And you should end up 1 block into a green concrete square. Like so. Cool. Do we want to just finish that line? I mean, shoot, we can. Yeah, because it's not a ton more left. From there, then you'll go out diagonally back by 2, and then back 1. Out diagonally back 1 and back 3. And then from there, you should be able to just go all the way out and connect into that kind of previous white wool line we added earlier. It's almost like the little weird curve in, and you see you get this, oh, that looks like a sad face. Oh, that, all right, it'll not look like a sad face forever, I don't think. Yeah, once we get stuff in the middle, it'll definitely look less sad. But anyway, again, copy that on the other side, and I will give you the step-by-step again, since that was definitely a lot. From either white wool here, you want to, this innermost one, extend back by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. You'll then go back diagonally in and back 2. Back diagonally in and back 1. Back diagonally in by 4 and in 1. Back diagonally in and in 1 again. Then back by 21. And I'm not even going to count it again because I'm confident enough. Actually, I just know that it should be, I think it's this green concrete square, yeah. Using the pattern is definitely helpful a lot of the time. If you're ever confused with an area and where I am, you can always just look and see, okay, so I'm this block of a particular green concrete square, and that at least narrows it down a bit. You'll then go out diagonally, back 2, back, out diagonally back and back 3. And then you will again connect back out to these rows with more white wool. And that should give you this. Cool. I kind of want to do those annoying lines. And when I say the annoying ones, well, you'll see pretty quickly. The inside of these giant kind of, they're not even shapes. I mean, they are shapes, but they're not any specific shape. You'll take this white wool, connecting them on these sides, and you want to pretty much drag that through by another 14 white wool. Like so. I'm going to do all 4 of these at the same time, because I don't feel like explaining this again, to be quite honest. And again, I don't think I need to, I might as well count it. 3, 6, 9, 12, and then that'd be 14 since I already had the 1 that I just wasn't counting. Cool. I'll then go diagonally in by 1, and I guess it'd be forward, so towards the goals by an additional 8. And again, I can actually just like fly across and know, okay, yeah, it's here. Yeah, almost there. I just hate diagonal lines. They're so annoying to build. You'll then go another diagonal in and forward again by, this time 9. Where is it here? Yeah, so that total row would end up being 10, I guess. Not that that's really important to mention, but especially since I haven't mentioned it at a single other time. You'll then go diagonally in 1 more time and forward 3, so a total row of 4. It's not the end of that though, so do not consider it as so. Sorry, I had to check something because I wanted to make sure that there wasn't a secret block hiding under the pressure plate that's going to be placed here, like at the end. That's all of them, right? Yeah. And then essentially you want to kind of go from that white wool diagonally both out and in, and then you will place another diagonal kind of connecting those like so. Essentially, I guess another way you could visualize it is you can place a block just kind of at the end of this row. I'll just use a gray concrete, and then off each side of that I'll have a white wool in the floor. And then when I break the gray, it'll reveal a little funny hole, which just actually marks where the big boosts are. Which will make our life easier later when we have to place all of the boosts. Is that all of them? Yep, cool. One less thing to do left. So, let's start focusing on, I don't want to say the middle necessarily, because it's technically not the middle, but if you take those lines that we made here for the kind of inner side of these shapes, it's these long rows of what should be 22 in total because of that first block. You will take the second block back, which is going to be this one right here, and you'll count in by 2, and going in from there, you're going to place 3 white wool. Again, I'll just do this one side at a time. So gap of 1, 3 wool. I'll then go back diagonally in, then in 3, then back diagonally in again, and those should be 5 blocks apart from there. And then you'll go back by 13 from either of those blocks. I guess technically it'd be forward, towards midfield. The only way you could place 13, actually. You'll then from there go out by 3. Back, I guess forward diagonally out. Out. Then forward diagonally out by 2. That white wool you will bring all the way back and connect into the beginning of this little shape. Which will give you another set of things that are kind of eye-shaped. I guess really anything can be eye-shaped when you think about it. You will fill these in with the respective wool colors. So I'm going to break everything inside, as I guess that would entail. And I will replace this one with orange on this side. For real, I will pick the right color this time. And the other side will be blue wool, as in the other side once we do them, but I haven't done them yet, so I will, again, explain them for that side quickly. Or if you just want to not. Although I guess at this point, it's easier to just follow along rather than having to be like, now let me skip ahead to find when that part is done, and then, you know, the next part is not already started. Either way, it's inconvenient. Whole lot of inconveniences going on. Anyway. That should give you this. Cool. For the other side, again, same thing. You'll take these long rows of white wool, second block kind of going forward, gap of 1 moving in, and then you'll place 3 white wool going in from there. 4 diagonally in from there, and then in 3. 4 diagonally in 1. Forward by 13. Then out 3. 4 diagonally out and out. Forward diagonally out 2. And then you will just connect it all the way back to the start of this shape with white wool, and then fill in the center with your, this time, blue wool be on this side. And yeah. Getting there. After this, there's like some circles around the kind of like that center area. You see that looks pretty empty here. There will be some stuff going on there, and then we have the, again, the kind of drawn on looking lines, and then we have boost pads, and then the glass, and then I'll briefly explain the lights and their positions, and then we're done. I think. There might be something I'm missing, but that's the main gist of it. Yeah, I might honestly pick this back up. Who knows, as a let's build, I mean, for the city. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I was gonna build the full thing around, and then I just kind of got bored. I was like, terraforming, no thanks. Moved on. Anyway, you should end up with this now. Cool. So, from the kind of inner corners, I want to do all 4 of these at the same time, mainly because I'm lazy. You want to take the inner corner white wools of each of these shapes and leave a gap of 1 extending towards the center and place a white wool. You'll then extend it out by 2. Forward diagonally, out 1 and out 1. Then forward diagonally out by 5. And forward 1. So many lines. Forward diagonally out and forward 2. And you should end up just inside of these lines, the outermost middle lines, I guess, out of the 3. You'll then from there go in with 2 wool, and you almost want to copy the shape. I guess basically if you were to take those along with the first white wools and bring them kind of forward by 2, you can trace the inside of these white wool shapes, making sure, again, you do the same thing where you're leaving the extra blocks. You'd go in by 1, and then it'd be a diagonal, in 1 again, and then I think it'd just be 3 diagonals from there. Is that right? Yeah. Basically, you just always want to have... The white wool never wants to touch the other row of white wool, even at a diagonal. No diagonals or anything, they are separate. Cool. Well, actually, these little shapes do not have any of the kind of pattern in it, so you can replace all the terracotta and concrete with just grass. We do have a couple dots to add of both blue and orange, so yeah, but I believe this should be the only other thing left that does not have that pattern going on. That isn't just filled with a color. Yeah, this map is... My hand is starting to feel it. You should have this. From the... Well, actually kind of both edges, because these things are symmetrical. You want to... This row of 3 grass, the outermost one closest to the... I guess the innermost one, actually, closest to the center on both sides, you replace with the wool color. So it'd be this block and this block. You're basically... Just after this little row of 2, it'll be the 3rd grass you would count along the area. Oh, I just bid all of those with blue, even though these are supposed to be orange. That's good for me. You will then... You'll take the inner row, specifically, and... I guess the only other row of 2, actually, you'll place, again, a wool color inside of, like so. And then the only other one would be between the 2nd and 3rd 1 diagonals on the outside, right there. And you can see how those are placed. Actually, funnily enough, between each blue, if you count along the grass, it'd be 1, 2, 3rd grass is a wool, 1, 2, 3, wool, 1, 2, 3, wool, 1, 2, 3, wool, 1, 2, 3, wool, and then it'd be 1, 2 on the end. Funny how that works. That way. Gotta pretend like that was fully intentional for me. It might have been, who knows. It's been too long for me to remember. That should give you this. That is pretty much everything done. Now, there's a couple, like, funny lines and things, as I've mentioned briefly throughout this. So, let's start doing those, shall we? Take the goal boxes, and again, I'm gonna do the orange side first, and then I'll do the blue side, although there's one spot where there's colored wool. You want to take out of the... Technically, you have 3 lines now. You want to take this... It'd be the middle line, but the outer one that connects to both the black concrete and to the center. You want to take the... Just past this 1 diagonal, this row of 2 white, and the outermost one you'll bring out with a white wool. So here. You then want to, on this outer line, which is, again, I guess the next line out, you'll take this row of 2 and diagonally out from it place a white wool. Then from there, I'm going to count forward 2 and out 1 and place another wool. Forward 2, wool. forward 2 and out 1, wool, forward 2, wool. And then you want to do this technically one more time, so forward 2, out 1, wool, forward 2, wool, forward 2, out 1, wool is where you would have it at the, I guess, end for right now. So basically you would have, you'd have this little singular dot, then you'd have 3 rows of 2, and then you'd end with 1 guy there. And then from that end 1, you'll continually leave gaps of 1 in place of wool until you reach the center. Now, you would have this guy, and then you'd have, technically there'd be a wool here, but this is already where the line is. Gap of 1, another wool there, and it would connect to that very center line. Just like so. From this, I guess, flat row of them, you want to take the second wool from the start here, so this guy, and directly outside of it, you're going to place, again, for me on this side, it's an orange wool. If it's blue, then it'll be, you know, blue. You'll then leave gaps of 1 going out and continue placing orange wools until you connect to, eventually, a different white wool, which is only 4, I guess, total dots on either side, but, yeah. Repeat that on the other side with the blue. So, again, from this goal box line, it'll be this row of 2 outside of the 1 diagonal, the outermost one I'll bring out. Next line out, actually same position, the white wool row just after the 1 diagonal. You'll have a wool diagonally out this time. Then forward 2, out, wool, forward 2, wool. And then again, you'll repeat that little row of 2 more times. Forward 2, out, forward 2, forward 2, out, forward 2, and then I'll go forward 2 and out again. So again, I have 1, then this 2, that 2, and then the final guy. So forward 2, out, wool, forward 2, wool, forward 2, out, wool, forward 2, wool, and then I would need 1 more out, so there. Again, if you look at the kind of floor pattern, you can see how that lines up. And then same thing from that one, the continual gaps of 1, and if it lines up with the other side like this, good job. If it didn't, check probably that side, because I did not explain that particularly amazingly. And then again, out of this endmost row, it'll be not the first wool, but the next one out. You'll place a blue wool directly outside of it and continue leaving gaps of 1 until you reach the end of the white, like so. There is, I think, 1 more set of lines, but these don't actually connect to each other. They just kind of start from the big boosts and go in. I'm not sure why. So, from the big boosts, which are these kind of little blocks here, or I guess you would have, you know, the opening in the center where there's a circle, you want to take the white wool just inside, and you want to count forward 2, out, wool. And again, I'll do 2 at a time. You'll then go forward 2, place a wool, forward 2, place a wool. You'll then go forward 2 and in 1, wool. Well, I guess it would have been in before. Did I say? I might have said out. I have no idea anymore. Forward 2, wool, forward 2, wool. So you have now 2 rows of the 3. Then you'll go forward 2 and in, wool. Forward 2, wool. And then if you place a block behind that, again, as a kind of placeholder, you'll surround that on the floor with white wool, and then you can break it. This doesn't seem to mark a boost or anything. It's just kind of here. So, yeah. Like so. And then again, if you take the other side, do the same thing from this inner wool. You'll count forward 2, in, wool, forward 2, wool, forward 2, wool. So you have those rows of 3. Then forward 2, in, wool, and then you'll copy the same thing. So you have the 3 dots again. Where is it there? Yes. Forward 2, in, wool, forward 2, wool. Block behind that, which I'll surround with the wool again. And then that is all of the lines done on the floor. Nice. That is a lot. Wow, that looks a lot different than it did with just plain grass. I mean, unsurprisingly, but also surprisingly, you know what I mean? Anyway, yeah, so you can clear your inventory, and for now, we just need acacia pressure plates and light-weighted pressure plates, which are the gold ones. So the gold ones are all fairly obviously marked. These, like, outermost kind of corner circles, here you want to place the gold pressure plates on, which are almost just in each of the four corners. Just like this. And you also want to place them on the intersection point closest to midfield. So I guess not closest to midfield, but on the midfield line, this kind of furthest out intersection point right there. You'll place one on. If you know where the Rocket League boosts are, you can kind of pinpoint where that should be, roughly. Now, again, I'm going to do both sides simultaneously here. So, for the goal box, inside of the innermost layer, you want to not the outermost grass diagonal, but one kind of just in front of this middle grass, you'll have a pressure plate there. An acacia one this time. All the rest of them will be acacia. Right, I don't think there's pressure plates anywhere else. And there. You want them in, there'd be 5 positions actually in this kind of outer area. One is just directly in the center between these two blue wool lines, the, I guess, closest in diagonals that don't touch, or I guess, again, the wool lines, because they wouldn't be blue on both sides. And then from there outside, you're going to take the outermost line and the second wool from the top. So this is the top one, this would be the second one. Just behind it, closer to the goal, you'll have a pressure plate. And again, I'll place these on the other side. So right there and there. And then from the long line here, you want to take the, not the end blue wool, but the one just before it, and you'll diagonally out and towards midfield, you'll have a pressure plate there. That's where they're all placed. Cool. And then same on this side, so there. And here. From this point, there is 4 evenly spaced around the center of midfield. I want to get these done because they're easy. Between each of these weird little semicircles, well, not semicircles, I guess the crescents, you're going to place in the direct center of each a pressure plate here. There should be five blocks between each of them, and then there are 3 rows thick. So just the center of between the 5 and between the 3. You then want to take these kind of, again, the dotted lines, and closest to midfield, you're going to take the 4th wool. So this guy right here. And outside of it, you'll have a pressure plate. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 4. Cool. From that point, how many more do we have? Not a ton, actually. Is it the first row of 2? I guess the row of 2 closest again to midfield out of this kind of diagonal. So if you were to follow the diagonal, just before it evens out this row of 2, in front, or I guess behind it, closest to the goal, you'll have a pressure plate there. Which is pretty close to those white wool circles, actually. I'm just now realizing. You can see how close it is. Maybe that's a good way to mark it as well. Speaking of those circles, though, in line with the kind of tip of them closest to midfield, if you trace all the way out to, is it outside? No, it's just outside of this kind of diagonal line, you're placing an acacia pressure plate here. It's a block away from the outermost white wool line. So again, this block, trace out, boink, and then I gotta do the ones on this side. And I think that's all the pressure plates. I don't know, as far as I'm concerned, there's 0 small pads in the field. Not actually. I use them enough, but I normally, if I need them, I'm just, like, driving around in the goal or in midfield, so I don't have the positions memorized in my head. That's the field done. Now, for the glass, you need the following glass colors. Irregular. Crazy, I know. You want white, blue, and orange? I think that's it. Unless that's like lycra or something. Nope, it's white. So, to start, I want to take the pink terracotta on these sides here and extend it up with 9 white stained glass on either side. This outermost one. You'll then bring it both kind of forward and backward by 1, so just along the walls here. You will also take that and extend the center one up diagonally in by 3, and you'll do the same with this diagonal, where you'll bring it in either direction by 1 with white glass. And then the center of that one, I'll bring in by 5, and yet again do the same thing. I don't know why it's done so many times, but it is. And then from the center of that one, I will extend in by 13. And again, do the same thing. That's, I think, the last time. Boink and boink. Cool. Although from there, you can actually, from the center one, go in with 2 regular glass, then another white, which you'll bring left and right in addition, or I guess forward and backward, an additional one again, sorry. Just like so. Will make more sense later, but not yet. If you would also like, you can connect those center white stained glasses together with just, again, normal glass, just so we can kind of get the point that that is the shaping, fully. For the most part, there's not a ton of lines. I mean, there's a good amount, but not like a crazy amount. So, first off, though, there is some around the goals. So if you take both goals and place just the colored glass of whatever color, so orange on this side, you'll place just like a row of 3 outside of the goalpost here, which is just literally the top 3 blocks of the goalpost are brought out by 1, each with glass. And I guess I'll do that on both sides. The bottom glass we brought out by 13. And then the middle one is just brought out by 1. Just a little bit of a difference. And then again, the other side. I think that was 13. Wait, was that 12? It was 12. Interesting. What are you, 2 away? 2 away, excluding that kind of corner, I guess. Cool. Next step is filling up with glass. Now, a couple points that I want to actually point out first before we do that. Over top the crossbar, if you take the 3rd block in, you'll extend up with what should be 6 of the, again, respective colored glass. And there will be a stripe here on both sides, but I'll get to that in a sec. Because I guess it's not really important beyond that point. But everything else, you're bringing up the light blue or orange or whatever with 8 rows of glass. Now, when you, just regular glass, when you do this, you don't have to do these, like, outer blocks. Again, I don't know why they're actually still here, to be quite honest with you. But you really just need those inner blocks. And make sure when you're filling that you fill everything up to this height. Which means if you have blue stained glass or something in the way, just kind of go around it. Like here, you can see I'm just going to go around. And I think, if I'm correct, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, the pillars we just placed on the blue, or on top of either net or goal, my bad, will be 1 taller than the rest of the glass. I know technically there is no net, but like everyone calls it a net, so whatever. I call it goal sometimes, net other times. I don't really know why. I blame hockey. When in doubt, blame something entirely unrelated. But then again, it is related because they both use nets. And same with soccer. Anyway. Yeah, and then after this, we just got some stuff to do on the ceiling. It's not, like, anything crazy. I think there's 2 circles, or maybe only 1. No, I feel like it is 2. Well, there's actually semicircles on the sides as well that I just remembered existed. Those aren't as important, though, because they're really small. But they're still there, so. Technically speaking, they do have to be accounted for. Anywho. And yeah, I'll just kind of chill, I guess, while I fill this. I'm not going to cut this one out because it shouldn't take as long as the other stuff. I guess I could also slash film, so let's do some of that, shall we? Let's speed up these flat sides. Boink. How many glass will this be? I guess like 300 or something. Yeah, okay, yeah, 327. I'll take it. I consider that a victory. This is gonna be then like 640 or something. Calling it now. Oh, 563. Wow, I was off. How does that even make sense? Because wouldn't double that would be 650. I guess I had 2 rows, so I guess, yeah, that's a good amount of it. Fine, whatever. I take the loss. Any fun things to talk about? No. Hopefully this was a fun little surprise tutorial. Sorry, members, I intentionally didn't release it for you guys early because I knew somebody would be like, hey, that's a thing. And I kind of just wanted it to appear this year. Other than that, I probably mentioned it in the New Year's stream. New Year's Eve stream, I guess I should say. Although, I don't know, that hasn't happened yet as of recording this. It's the day before. I'm excited for that stream. I know that's kind of not important because it already had happened now, but hopefully that was a fun stream. Subtle foreshadowing. I don't know. Because I've got a lot of things that I, again, as of right now, I'm interested in talking about during that. So hopefully it'll make it a little bit more interesting. Rather than just playing a game. Or building a game, or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, almost there. Just this little corner to do. Oh, I got the other corner too. Rats. Took a little longer than I was hoping, but oh well. Sometimes it do be that way. One thing with vibrant visuals that has annoyed me, especially during this, is I cannot see the glass colors sometimes. Like, colors just don't... They aren't as vibrant sometimes. Like, the white stained glass, when I was looking at the ceiling at all the glasses, like, I could not make out what was blue versus orange versus white with the way the lighting was. But I also think that's the PlayStation monitor not helping my case. Anyway, once you're done that, you should have this. Now, on top of that, you're placing the respective glass colors for the respective sides. This is where these little white lines come in, actually. Because, yeah, on top of all the glass here on this side, you want blue stained glass, and on top of the other side, you would want orange. And this will connect into those funny little lines we made over top of the goals earlier, but those don't stop there, they keep going. I just only built them that high because after that it's a diagonal, and that was a whole lot of work to think ahead for. What? Okay, I just got really confused. It, like, looked like it didn't place the last one, but I don't know. I didn't see it right or something. You should have this. Now, for the next 3 rows, you can probably guess what's happening here. For each of these 2 diagonals, you're placing glass just a row inside of the rest, kind of diagonally up and in. Make sure when you hit the flat sides here where the goals are, that you keep these colored lines going. So you see here this orange, I'm going to kind of bring diagonally up where that orange is. And same thing on this side, boop, another orange, and then on the far side it'd be blue, I guess. But yeah, and you're doing this technically 3 times in total, but only do it twice, because the 3rd time is the colors again, so the blue and orange. Which is not important yet, really. Can I do something? Okay, no. I was kind of hoping to record another tutorial after this, but I'm an hour and a half deep into this, and I'm not really feeling that anymore. So, you know, there's that. This is, fun fact, as far as the recording time, is longer than normally 2, like, PPT parts would take, or whatever. Although, I guess on the other side of it, it is also longer than normally what would be 3. Well, not quite 3, but like just under 3 city tutorials. Like maybe a house and a full refresh build, depending on the refresh. Like pharmacy was the last one that I not. I guess not last one, but one of the last ones I recorded. So, this context would make sense. Oh, diagonal lines, man, they're so annoying. Almost there, though. I'm gonna just fill straight across here, and then I'll worry about the consequences after, which would be right now. I figured this would be like a 2-hour thing, though. I can't even lie. When I was thinking about doing this today, I was like, it's gonna have to be a. Well, I was hoping it wasn't gonna have to be an only tutorial of the day, but here that is going quite well. And then once you've done that, again, the next row of glass would be diagonally in with the colored glass fully around. And yeah, and then we're gonna, for this next part, do all of the like circles and stuff in the ceiling, and then we'll fill in all the glass after. To just the plain glass. Cause yeah, that's that. I don't know. This shadow is getting quite large. Well, actually, I don't think it really changes much from the, or would change much from the glass. That shadow is something. It's quite dark. As much as Minecraft looks weird without vibrant visuals now, some things about it are quite annoying. Anyway, you should end up with this. Now, we do have 2 full circles and then these semicircles on the sides. So let's start with the semicircles because they're easiest. From these outermost rows of 3 glass, you want to extend out with 1 of each colored glass block. I'll do one side at a time. You'll then go kind of diagonally towards you by 1, so towards the perimeter. Out 1, then diagonally out and towards the perimeter by 2, and then you'll just connect into the side. Shouldn't really need to be instructed again because it's fairly simple, but if you need it, out by 1 with the colored glass from the row of 3 white, diagonally out 1 and then out again, then diagonally out by 2. I'm flipping the colors, and then you'll connect into the oh no, I was just doing blue on both, I see. Then you'll connect into the side. So it should look like this. Hopefully you can see the numbers, which all the rows are really 2, I guess. Next part is the fun part. Not really, there's nothing fun here. What you can do is... make sure there's nothing funny going on. Okay, there's not. From the next outermost white glass row, we're doing this from both sides, so I'm going to do all 4 segments at the same time. You'll extend this out with 2 of the colored glass. You'll then go pretty much just diagonally in and then out by 2, which would be towards the goals. Like kind of this. You'll then go diagonally in again and towards the goal by 1 once more. Yet more? That didn't. Yet again, I guess, would be the whatever. You'll then go diagonally in by 3 and then in 1, right? Yeah. Again, make sure you're getting your colors right. It is definitely a little weird to try to like process it at times. You'll then go diagonally in 1 and in 2. And then you'll go diagonally in 1, and you should connect together with 5 in the center, so it's a total row of 7 there. Cool. That I think copies a circle, doesn't it? Maybe not. I mean, roughly. It's not quite the same, but it almost copies this kind of circle here on the ground made from these 4 little segments. The next thing I'm going to actually tell you to do is take these rows, again, these rows from, or the lines over top of the goal, and just take this really blue glass or orange glass or whatever and bring it all the way in until it connects into this circle. It should connect into the outermost blocks of the kind of flat rows on the sides of the circle. Actually, no, sorry. It's connecting to the outermost block of the rows of 3. A little further out than I initially thought, but yeah. Should give you this. Next up, we can do the inner circle. So this row of white glass here, this inner one, you want to extend out with just one colored glass. You'll then go diagonally in and forward one, but you'll do that twice, so you'll have kind of these 2 rows of 2. Alright, splendid. Love double breaking blocks in Bedrock, it's my favorite. To be fair, it's a great feature to have, it just doesn't work sometimes, like, as that moment. You'll then go diagonally in by 2, and in 1. It just, like, it's when you're trying to move, it thinks that you're gonna be breaking a full row, so it breaks, like, another block because you are moving. What did I do? Oh, I didn't add another row of 2 over here. That's what I did. And then from that point, you'll go diagonally in and in 1 again. And then you'll go diagonally in and connect together from there. Cool, that's all the fancy stuff on the ceiling done. Yippee. The next thing I'm going to tell you to do is fill in the rest of the ceiling in with glass. I'm going to, just in line with this, I'm going to basically cut off these kind of weird ends, kind of where the corners are, and almost just fill in this trapezoid manually, and then I can fill in the rest with a nice /row command. Yeah, and if you don't care for the lights, that's all. However, if you do want the lights, you can stick around, because I will kind of explain how I did those. They are, I think, going to stick over the grid a little bit in some spots, but it's not a huge deal. Just something worth noting. So from this point, I'll go, okay, well, I'll go down a block. Okay, I said I'll go down a block. There we go. And then I'll go to the opposite corner. I guess I could technically... No, never mind. That would be weird. Keep 4,730 blocks. Wow. That's a lot. I missed a block. That's exciting. And yeah. Oh, I missed another one. Good. Great, even. You know what? I'm just going to fill by a little area. How's that sound? Brilliant, actually. That worked a lot better than... never mind. It didn't work better. I still missed a block. Anyway, yeah, there's the main field done. Again, if that's all you care for, then you can skedaddle. Nice. That's a lot of glass. Now, what I did was I used Cobble Deep Slate to kind of just fill out the bottom here. Unfortunately, I can't really do any command for this. But, yeah. And also, if you are doing this, I filled under the kind of backs of the goals with it. Oh my goodness. So, like, I'll go to... I think I can go to there. Actually, I don't know if I can go that far, but I'm going to find out anyway. Yeah, no, that was fine. So you see here that actually didn't fill under the glass. True, because it's green concrete. So, yeah. I'm not going to worry about replacing the grid, actually. Because it doesn't matter to me. And for the lights, there are... How many of them? 4. There's 5 per side, so 10. And basically, I actually do have, like, this row under, by the way. Underneath the overhang, I have it as gray concrete. But for the lights, I used stone brick walls, and grindstones. They don't light up, but yeah, that is what it is. And I have them, I'll explain how to probably make the lights only once or twice, but I'll explain all the positionings. So from this center, it'll be the, what, the 3rd block out? Yes, which would be the 4th, including this block, but 3rd out from the, like, end point of the wall. So here it'll be, you know, just a stone. And I'll mark all of them actually real quick, just on one side probably. So from the corner, it'll be the 5th last glass. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. And again, same thing, it'll be in line with the other one, so you'll just have to place 3 blocks out from what will be this row under. And then for the other one, this one's in a weird position. If you take the kind of back corner here, if you have the extra light blues like I do, you want to, from this backmost one, the extra one, you'll go just diagonally out and pop the stone there. And then again, that would just repeat on kind of all 4 corners. So you can see 5th glass, and technically 2 over from the glass, but only 1 out for this guy. And from each of those stones, you'll place 11 stone brick walls extending up. You'll then kind of move them, or you'll place one left and right of that top one that should kind of go along the way the light should be facing. So for these ones kind of closer to the back wall, they would face, or they go actually left to right, towards and away from the goal. Well, I guess actually it'd be all of them towards and away from the directions of the goals. Something like that. And then off each of the top 3 stone brick walls off the inside, you can just place grindstones. They don't connect, but if you kind of go to the inside and look out, they look pretty accurate to the lights. So anyway, yeah, again, I'm not going to make all of them, but that is the kind of gist of it. Nothing too crazy. And anyway, I would fill out probably the ground just around as far as you'd like with cobble deep set. I have like about 7 rows out. I think I actually have 8. Do I have 8 on all sides? Yeah, I do. And then the corner I kind of just curved a little bit to make sense, although it's not really much. It's just like one little row of 2, and then the rest are 1 diagonals. But anyway, once you're done that, ladies and gentlemen, that is Rocket League Sovereign Heights map complete. Wow, that was a lot. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you guys did enjoy this video, have a fantastic rest of your day or night, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.